Hi, everyone. This is Miley Martin from Student Activities at Fresno City College with an FCC spotlight on Women's History Month. Joining me today is Dr. Carole Goldsmith, President of Fresno City College. Welcome, Dr. Goldsmith. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. Thank you so much for taking the time and putting this together. We really appreciate it. I've always enjoyed all the videos that student activities have put together, and especially all your work. So thanks for spending a little time with me today.
Well, thank you for joining me.
Yeah.
So, we are celebrating Women's History Month. It is
Yes.
actually what, March 1st? So
Yes.
good to see you.
Yeah.
This is a time to reflect on past achievements of all women and their courageous reach for equality in all areas of our life. How do you feel being a woman has shaped your success,
Mhm.
and who inspired you to reach higher in your career?
Wow. So it's interesting when you talk about Women's History Month. So many famous women come to mind, and rightfully so. And as a historian myself, I could look towards people like Golda Meir or so many other women who worked in areas where there were no other females, and that they broke the glass ceiling. But for me, Women's History Month is really taking a look at my own family, our own culture here in the Valley, and what it means for maybe not so many famous women, but women who've been really influential. And so for me, my biggest role model for Women's History Month was my mom. And my mom didn't finish high school. Her and my dad got married in high school. And back during those days, in the 1950s, people thought they had to get married. Well, they didn't have to get married. They actually were two young lovebirds, and they didn't. Both had interesting family lives, challenging family lives, and they wanted to get out and create their own life. And 8 years later, 8 years later came little baby Carole Goldsmith. And my mom always wanted me to do better than she did. She wanted to make sure I finished high school. My mom was a devout reader, and she would read on all sorts of things, everything from the arts to political history to homemaking, to even sports. So she encouraged me to read and to learn more. And when I was in high school, she really encouraged me to continue on and to go to college, because no one in my family had gone to college. And she was my biggest supporter and my staunchest advocate. When I was a young child, well, I did okay in school. I always seemed to be a disconnect between my verbal skills and my skills analytically in some of my writing. And so, with her continued pushing the school officials at that time to do some testing to see if there was something scrambled in my brain, as she liked to say, that just something doesn't add up here. Well, they found out later that I have a learning disability, or I like to say I had a learning disability, because I had some wonderful educators, especially at the community college level, that helped teach me how to formulate my thoughts in a clear and concise way, because I have dyslexia. So learning some of the tips and strategies uh, helped me be a better student. And so for those students out there who may be struggling, I encourage you to, uh, go to the tutoring center. If you have a 504 plan, or you're a high school student who had special services, go to the DSPS services, go to the reading lab. I went to the reading labs in community college, and it really helped me. And I went on and not only got did well at community college, but went to Fresno State, and then continued on and got my master's and got a doctorate degree. So just because someone puts a label on you, that doesn't mean that label defines you. And those lessons I learned from my mom. And she pointed out so many other women. In fact, I told you, she read a lot about political history. Well,
Mhm.
she was the one who also gave me a lot of books and would read to me about Golda Meir, the first female prime minister of Israel. And she was kind of a role model, as was Eleanor Roosevelt for me, and many of the first women, the first ladies of the United States. So my mom would get these autobiographies and share them with me, and they just made an incredible mark on who I am. And so when I got to Fresno State, I had already declared that I was going to be a history major, and it was my mom who encouraged me to take some classes in women's history. And there I learned the important power of first person narrative and these biographies, using primary resources and going through people's letters or going through old tax records or these sort of things to learn about the experiences of what we would call, working class women.
Mhm.
And that narrative is incredibly important because it's a narrative that resonated with me. I mean, my mom worked while I was in school, probably like many of you, but they're really the backbone of our country and our community. And so I would encourage a lot of our students to learn about your history, to learn about your mom or your aunties or your grandmother and what was their story. You know, when I was at Fresno State, I had an opportunity to work on a project as a student worker, and we got to go and interview local residents who were of Japanese heritage who were interned during World War II. And that project just enlightened me and opened up so many doors about the injustices that we've perpetuated on people, in the name of protecting people or in the name of, national security or in the name of the name of the name of.
Mhm.
And so as I learned and listened about so many of the families here that were interned and listening to, at the time, it was usually the grandmother or the child talking about their family's experience. Once again, I was moved about how the women really kept hope alive and kept that family unit going. And I think we find that in so many of our cultures where it's the mom, it's the auntie, it's that matriarch of the family that keeps things going on, when in times of turmoil or in times of trouble or even in times of great joy. There are these uh, just family rituals that keep the family history going. So for me, Women's History Month is very personal in a lot of ways because it's a celebration of us as females and of as daughters and sisters and mothers, but also looking and inspiring young women to be leaders in whatever you're studying and you want to be. You can be a leader, and I would argue right now you're leaders now
Yes.
because so many of our youth today aren't going to school because they're overwhelmed with the pandemic. I totally understand. Um,
That leads me into my next
yeah,
question.
yes,
I have the pandemic has disrupted everyone's way of life,
yes,
especially our students. So,
yes.
as the president of Fresno City College, what has been the most challenging for you during this time?
Wow, what's been the
That's
most
a
challenging?
lot.
Everything. And again, and everything has been inspiring.
Mhm.
Watching faculty and students learn from each other as we transition to this new remote reality and started using Zoom. In fact, I have a new Zoom background because
Oh
a
yeah.
year ago, a Zoom background was not a thing, but now I have a new Zoom background.
Hey.
And if you're a student or your staff member, you can get this new Women's History Zoom background. It went out from our public information office, the Fresno City Daily News or Weekly News that Kathy Bonilla puts out. So you'll be able to see this link so you could use it anytime. But the pandemic, in all sincerity, it really has. It's shown a light on the disparities that we already knew existed. We already knew that there was health disparities between people who have the ability to access health care and access fresh food and have a higher ability to seek out additional education, seek out healthcare. We knew that there was a gap. Well, this has just exacerbated that gap. And that part shows that we all have a lot of work to do. And also, I think it's taught me about mental health and the importance of taking care of yourself. Because there are times I have to unplug and turn off my phone and go for a walk and, do those things, get out in nature. Those were problems that we knew. We knew there was a mental health um, challenge in our community because there's not enough providers, and there's so many things in our community that we're stretching our students in terms of the stressors of going to work and being a single parent, or going to work and being a parent,
Yeah.
or going to work and wanting to be a parent, and trying to balance that life school. It's so hard. Or taking care of others in your family. It could be, your mom and dad, or your elders, your aunts. um, so that stress has been exasperated because now, of course, we're home, and the little ones are home, and they need extra help and extra care. So once again, that role of being a mom or a parent, um, it really has shown how important it is and how hard it is. So when students, I see students quite a bit throughout the town. I'll go to a grocery store, or I'll go to a fast food place. Yeah, I eat fast food, or a coffee shop, and I'll see somebody. They're like, "Aren't you?" And I'm like, "Yeah." Like, "I'm taking classes." And I'm so, "What are you studying?" "Well, I'm only taking a class, or I'm only dropping one." So I got to stop there. We got to change the narrative. You are going to college in the middle of a pandemic,
Right.
and you're working. And then I ask them, "Do you have anybody you're taking care of?" And a lot of times they're taking care of somebody at home, either a child or another adult. So don't minimize your role of what you're doing, saying, "I'm only this." No, no. You are a college student, whether you're taking 1 unit or 12 units or 15 units. You're a college student, and you're doing it in the middle of a pandemic. So thank you. So the pandemic has taught us a lot
Yeah.
to lean into each other, to support one another, to tell people you love them, that you care about them, because we don't know what tomorrow brings.
Exactly. So many good points. So many good points. I have another question for you.
Sure.
Throughout history, women have had to push through societal boundaries to develop self-respect and new opportunities
Yes.
for girls and young women.
Yeah.
What are you most passionate about today, and what are your hopes for young women in college today and in the future?
Wow, that's a powerful question. You packed a lot in there. So what? Read it to me one more time. That was a good one.
What are you most passionate about today, and what are your hopes for young women in college today and in the future?
Yeah. Well, what I'm most passionate about today is that our young women today have access to any class that they want to take, whether it's a STEM class, which is science, or engineering, or mathematics, or technology, or if they want to go into welding, or they want to be a police officer, or a going to the fire academy. You can do anything you want. There are no artificial barriers placed in your way. And I'm seeing more and more young women go to the police academy. I'm seeing more and more young women go into the fire academy. And I see occasional few welders out there. Um, I think if women want to continue in traditional roles such as teaching and nursing, I think they should, and continue to do so. But I'd also encourage women to think about what they might not think is possible. Maybe you want to be an auto mechanic. We have a wonderful auto mechanic program, and we even have some female auto mechanic instructors. So this whole idea of who you are, or what your gender is, defines what you do, is an archaic idea.
Exactly.
And I'm excited by that. I'm also excited by this idea that the idea of pay equality. I know some people don't believe that's a thing, but it is. And I'm glad that there are more and more people wanting to have that conversation and put protections into place, because some would argue that they're in place, and that, pay inequality doesn't happen. It still does, and it still needs to be looked at. And there are a lot of people across this nation and the state, lots smarter than I am, trying to look at that to really make sure we have equality in pay. The last thing I'd like to say is I'm really proud of. I watched the Golden Globes last night, and I was so impressed with a lot of the commercials that you typically see or glamour products or beauty products. And they're starting to change their message about what beauty is and what the perfect woman should be or look like. And so we're changing the rules and maybe defining things how we would like to be seen, not necessarily how we've been objectified. So talking about women's strength, you see somebody like Alicia Keys, who's like, I'm not going to wear makeup because I'm beautiful just the way I am. Or you'll see pop stars who maybe be a plus size and they're like, I'm not going to let anybody body shame me. Having women stand up for who they are and taking power for their bodies and how they look and what they want to say, that's powerful. That's incredibly powerful. On whatever spectrum you are, in the conservative or liberal, it doesn't make a difference.
Exactly.
Speak your mind and don't be spoken over. Mm-hmm. The time for that is coming to an end. Women's voices are now being heard, and we need to continue to speak so we will not be quiet until spoken to or asked to smiley, enthusiastically support something just because a male counterpart is doing that. Or we'll work with men, we'll work with each other, and we will lift each other up as a community, because the only way we're going to work is look at where we've been and figure out where we want to go, and where we want to go is better. And the only way better is together.
Exactly. So I heard you earlier mention that Women's History Month, the focus or the theme is hope. Is that what?
Yes,
What
it
are you
is.
hopeful for in this year? What's on your list of hopes?
Well, I'll tell you, there's a number of women in the community. We've been talking about hope and how we need to focus on hope. So for any of you who are athletes, I'm now talking to my volleyball players and my softball players. Yes, and even my baseball player guys too. All your coaches tell you to visualize where you want to go. And when you're replaying that game or that match, to think about that well executed play. Because when you focus more on that, your memory, your muscle memory continues to repeat. So if we focus on the good things, perhaps we will continue to replicate those good things and maybe even expand upon those good things. So focusing on hope and focusing on what is working well, I think, and I hope all of our coaches are right, that you will start to create more of that. So what gives me hope is that through the last now a year or 11 months, our faculty and our staff and our students and our administrators have been working together for each other's good in the most transparent and caring way possible. Now, that's not to say, there's not a few bumps along the road, but our students have shown incredible resiliency. They keep coming back, and we want them to keep coming back. Our faculty have learned new things. Our classified professionals are learning how to do things differently. And as we come back, because we are, we've been here, we've had a number of classes on ground, and we continue to bring more back as it continues to be safe. And, we will continue to bring people back. But let's not lose hope of the things that we've learned, the innovations, using Zoom, using electronic signatures, and most importantly, expressing grace and kindness towards one another, and allowing people to make a mistake and give forgiveness and move forward. Those are things, if we can hold on to, regardless of all the stuff that may be going on in the larger world, if we can interact with one another through grace, kindness, and love, that gives me hope. And that's what I've seen here for the last 11 months. And I saw it all before, but I've just seen more of it. And is it because more of it's been shown, or I'm focusing on it more? I don't know. But I'm hopeful that if I continue to focus on the things that bring me hope, kindness and love and grace and working together and collaboration, we'll see more of it.
Wonderful words to live by, Dr. Goldsmith. Thank you so much for joining me today. Stay safe, stay healthy, and look forward to seeing you on campus.
I look forward to seeing you too. Thanks.
Bye.
Bye-bye.